Listen, everybody moving to Dallas right now, they keep asking this same question. What's gonna be that best master plan community over here? And that right there is actually the wrong question to ask. Because what nobody tells you is that Dallas has over 50 master plan communities, and most of them look great online, but live completely different in real life. Listen, I've got clients that fly in on the weekends, they tour, 3 or 4 of these in one weekend, and by the end of it, they're like, wait, this is not what I thought it was gonna feel like. And that is exactly why this video matters so much, because today we're getting inside 3 communities people are choosing right now. And I'm telling you guys up front, these are not interchangeable. One of these is gonna feel like the peace, the space, and that get me out of the city type of feeling, right? One of them is gonna feel straight lifestyle overload, like you're living inside of some sort of resort. And the other one, guys, this might be where the suburban living is actually heading to next. And depending on how you live day to day, one of these is going to feel like home, and the other two are probably not even close. All right, so here's how we're gonna do this, guys. We're not just skimming the surface or throwing up, pretty shots of homes and calling it a day. We're actually gonna get inside what it feels like to live in each one of these communities. We're gonna talk about how far you are from Dallas and everything else around you and the types of homes that you're gonna find in these communities. And then most importantly, who each one of these tends to make sense for and who it probably doesn't at the same time. Because at the end of the day, guys, this is not about which community is better. It's gonna be about which one actually fit your lifestyle. And trust me, after helping a lot of people make this move, I can tell you this. That's the part that matters way more than people actually think. So good old Goodland, Texas, guys. Goodland is what happens when a community stops trying to compete on who has the flashiest amenities. And instead, it's gonna focus on how your life actually feels when you live there. Because let's just be really real. A lot of the master plan communities around Dallas right now, they look super great online. They got the pools, they got the gyms, the marketing is on point. But when you drive through them, everything feels tight, it feels busy, and a little too copy and paste. But Goodland is gonna be going in the complete opposite direction. All right, so what even is Goodland, Texas, guys? This is gonna be one of those newer master plan communities sitting on the south side of Mansfield. It's really closer to Midlothian and Venus, and it's gonna be right along that 287 corridor with that 360 expansion coming through as well. And the great thing about this is it's still super early. You're not walking into something that's fully built out with everything already in place, right? You're buying into something that's still growing, still developing, and still layering in what it's going to be over time. Now, the vibe out here is where it actually separates itself from everybody else. This place feels calm in the way that a lot of people don't realize they're actually missing until you experience it firsthand. You're not driving through the packed streets. You're not staring directly into your neighbor's backyard from your kitchen window, and you're not dealing with that constant low-level noise that comes from more dense suburban buildings. It's just gonna feel open. It feels breathable, and for a lot of people, this is where all of that clicks. This is gonna be that, oh, okay, I didn't realize I needed this type of feeling in my life. Now, when it comes to what you actually can do here, this is where you need to understand the difference between a lifestyle community and an amenity flex community. Goodland is not trying to overwhelm you with 10 different attractions. I mean, right now, the main hub is called the Hangout, and that's where your pool, your splash area, your cabanas, the playground setup is all gonna be. It's clean, it's functional, it's family friendly. And then you've got the retreat that's on its way right now, which is going to be a much larger amenity expansion, plus a future downtown area planned inside of the actual community that's eventually gonna bring in more food spots, more convenience, and more daily use spots. But here's gonna be that real lifestyle plot. It's not just about what's inside the neighborhood, it's what's around you. If you want a solid dinner spot, you've got places like Meehan's Chop House over in Mansfield, which is one of those, go-to steakhouse spots people actually dress up for. You've got the Vault Seafood and Steakhouse in the same area. They're gonna have a little bit more of that higher end feel, that date night type of energy when you wanna get loose with your loved one. And if you're just trying to keep it a little more casual, Bella Luca's Italian out in Midlothian is a local favorite, right? And then you got spots like Branded Burger Co. or the Exquisite Cafe for more, everyday runs. And then for my fitness enthusiasts, if you're not just using what's in the neighborhood, Main Street Gym over in Midlothian is one of the highest rated local gyms over in that area. It's gonna be more of that community-driven feel instead of a packed commercial gym. And if those smaller places are just not for you and you need that access, you got Lifetime Fitness around the corner and other options up there in Mansfield as well. Now, if you're someone who actually likes being outside, this is where Goodland really starts to make sense for you guys. You're not too far from Joe Pool Lake over there in Grand Prairie, so you've got the boating, the fishing, the kayaking, all of the jazz. And then right around the corner from there, you got the Cedar Hill State Park, and that's going to be right there too. And that's going to give you the hiking, the biking trails, the camping. It's just a completely different pace from the city life. So I mean, all in all, this is the kind of area where your weekends don't have to revolve around traffic and reservations, right? But before I go too far, let's talk about the location, guys. This is not a central Dallas location, right? If you need to be in Dallas every single day, you're gonna feel that distance when you're doing it. Now, it's manageable and you can do it the right way, but you're still gonna feel it. But if you're someone who either works, let's say remotely, has the flexibility, or you just don't need to be in the city constantly, this trade-off starts to make a lot more sense for you. Now, as far as the homes go, this is where a lot of buyers start to really lean in and listen closely. Right now, this is primarily a single family home community, right? No townhomes, no stacked products, right? You're getting all the space. Look, the builders out here are gonna include the names of Highland Homes, you have Grand Homes, David Weekley, Beazer, and I think History Makers out there as well. So these are all the builders that most people are already familiar with across the Dallas Metroplex. You're gonna see mostly 1 to 2 story homes. They're gonna have those more traditional layouts with some modern farmhouse influence. You're gonna get the brick and the stone exteriors and homes that feel like they're actually belong in a setting like this. So who is this actually going to be for? This is for the person who's tired of feeling boxed in. The person who doesn't need constant stimulation to feel like you're in the right place, guys. If your version of a good day is coming home, having some space and a little quiet, and not feeling like you're living on top of everybody else, this is where Goodland starts to hit home. Goodland is not trying to be everything for everybody. It's built for a very specific type of lifestyle. And if that lines up with how you actually live day to day, this can be a very, very strong option. And listen, if you're watching this trying to figure out where you actually fit in the Dallas area, look, don't try to figure all this out on your own, guys. That's literally what I do and help people do every single day, guys. Listen, if this is your first time to the channel, I'm Mark with the Dallas Relocation Guide, and we help people buy, sell, and relocate right here to the Dallas Metroplex. I'm a local realtor here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and my real estate team and I, we work with a lot of people relocating here who just need clarity on where they should actually be, right? So if you got questions, if you want to talk through your situation, or you just want to get pointed in the right direction, guys, feel free to reach out. All of our contact info is down in the description below and pinned to the top of the chat. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, okay, I like the space, I like the calm, but I still want more going on around me, then the next community we're about to get into is going to feel completely different. All right, now listen here. Windsong Ranch is what happens when a community says, yeah, we're not doing the quiet, slow, spaced out thing. We're turning the lifestyle all the way up. Because if Goodland felt like an exhale, this right here feels like you stepped into a vacation mode and just decided not to leave. So what is Windsong Ranch? This is gonna be a massive master plan community out in Prosper, Texas on the north side. And at this point, it's one of the most established and in-demand communities in all of North Dallas. This is not that early stage mover. This is built out, refined, and fully operating at a high level. Now, the vibe out here is completely different, guys. This is gonna be active. This is social. This is the type of place where something is always going on around you. You've got people out walking, biking, kids everywhere, events happening, and there's just a constant level of energy throughout this community, right? If Goodland felt like calm and quiet, Windsong feels alive. And let's just address the elephant in the room, because this is what everybody knows Windsong Ranch for. And that's gonna be that big crystal lagoon. Now this thing is impressive. It's a 5-acre crystal clear lagoon sitting right in the middle of the community. And I'm telling you right now, the first time you see it in person, it doesn't even feel real. White sand, paddleboarding, kayaking, cabanas, it literally looks like something you'd see in a resort in Mexico, not in the middle of Prosper, Texas. And yeah, people actually use it every single summer. This is not one of those amenities that just looks good online. This is the central part of how people live here. But the crazy thing is the lagoon is just the headline or the thing that's pulling people that way. The rest of the community backs it up with a vengeance. You've got a full fitness center, multiple pools, tennis courts, pickleball, miles of trails. You're gonna get parks and the constant resident events. This place is built for people who wanna be out and do something and plugged into what's going on around them. And then right outside the community, this is where Windsong really starts stacking advantages, right? You're right next to everything happening in Prosper and Frisco. So if you wanna grab dinner, you're gonna have spots like Tender Smokehouse for barbecue, you'll get Eddie Napoli's for Italian, and then you're just minutes from Legacy West and the Star in Frisco, if you want that higher end dining, the shopping, and just to do more. For some fitness right outside the neighborhood, you've got Lifetime Fitness and Prosper and Frisco's Cowboys Fit. And I even think they got an Orange Theory over there too. Pretty much every option you could want within a short drive is over in this area. And listen to me closely, if you're into golf, you're surrounded by courses all over this place. Now, location-wise, this is one of the biggest advantages you're gonna see. You're in Prosper, but you're right on the edge of Frisco. It's like literally right there on the line. So getting down into North Dallas is just very doable, and you're right in the middle of one of the fastest growing, most built out parts of the Metroplex. This is not that wait 5 years for things to show up. It's already here. All right, so now let's talk homes, because this is another reason people gravitate towards Windsong Ranch, right? You're gonna have the wide range of builders out here, names like Highland Homes, Perry Homes, Britton Homes, Darlin Homes, and a few others depending on the section that you're gonna be in. So you're not getting a mix of product types, but it's all primarily single family homes. You'll see everything from more entry-level single-family homes all the way up to those larger luxury-style builds that we see on Instagram and some of these other platforms. And the lots out here are going to be tighter than what we talked about in Goodland, but that's part of the trade-off for being in a more active, amenity-heavy environment. So who is this really even going to be for? This is for the person or the family that wants that activity. You want things to do, you want your kids to have stuff going on inside the community, and you want to meet people, be social, and actually use the neighborhood you're living in. So if you like the idea of walking out your front door and there's always something happening, this is where Windsong Ranch, it really hits. Now on the flip side, if you're someone who values privacy, space, and a slower pace, this might feel like a lot for you. There's gonna be more people, more movement, and less separation between homes compared to something like Goodland. And that's just gonna be the trade-off, right? You're giving up some space and quiet, but in return, you're getting one of the most lifestyle-driven communities in the entire Dallas area. And if you're sitting here thinking, okay, I think I like the energy, I like the amenities, but I want something that feels a little newer, a little more design focused, and maybe a better balance between the two. Well, that's where this next community we're about to get into is going to hit that middle ground and really make things interesting for you. All right, so painted tree is what happens when a builder actually steps back and says, all right, what if we designed a community around how people want to live today, not how they lived 20 years ago? Because this one feels different in a way that's really more subtle, right? But once you see it, you can't unsee it. So what is Painted Tree? This is a newer master plan community out in McKinney. And just like Goodland, it's still developing. But the difference is in how it's being designed from the ground up, right? This isn't just homes and amenities dropped onto land. This is a layout that's been through a lot more intentionality. Now the vibe out here, it's gonna be clean, it's modern, it's organized in a way that just feels easier to live in. And what I mean by that is everything feels connected. You've got over 200 acres of green space, miles of trails, and these smaller pocket parks spread all throughout the community. So instead of having one big park that everybody has to drive to, you've got little spots all over the place where you can just step outside and be in it if you want to. And look, let me say this to you really quick. Like, the community is built for people who actually use their neighborhood, not just drive in, park, and go inside, and then do it all again tomorrow, right? There's gonna be more of that controlled energy type of piece, right? Now, when it comes to the amenities and then some of the things to do, this is where Painted Tree takes a slightly different approach, right? Instead of one massive, hey, look at me type of feature, they've spread the experience out all throughout the community. You've got the trails, the parks, the gathering areas, the community spaces that are designed to feel more natural instead of something you only use on the weekends. And then outside of the community, this is where the location starts doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you, right? You're in McKinney, which is one of the top spots and one of my sleeper picks, guys. If you want a solid brunch or breakfast run, places like Exquisite or Layered over in downtown McKinney are go-to spots. For dinner, you've got places like Harvest, which is one of the more well-known farm-to-table spots in the area. And then you also have Rick's Chop House if you want something a little more upscale. If you're into fitness, you've got Lifetime Fitness over in McKinney, multiple boutique gyms, Orange Theory, F45, pretty much every option you'd expect in a well-built-out area. And for shopping, you're not far from the Adriatica Village, which has that unique European-style vibe to it, plus all the retail and everyday convenience you need throughout McKinney and over into Frisco. But let's talk location honestly, right? This is one of the biggest advantages Painted Tree had. You're not gonna be too far out, kind of like Goodland was, but you're also not as deep into the density as some of the parts of Frisco. But it's a really strong middle ground when we're talking about McKinney, right? Now, when it comes to homes, this is where you see that design-forward approach show up again and again and again. You've got builders like Highland Homes, Perry Homes, David Weekley, and a few others, and you're seeing a mix of one-story and two-story single-family homes. But the difference is in how everything looks together. The architecture feels more cohesive, the layouts feel more modern, and the community itself feels more curated. This is still suburban living, just done in a more intentional intentional way. So who is this one actually going to be for? This is for people who care about how things feel. If you want something that looks good, that flows well, that makes sense day to day, you like the idea of being outside, having access to green space, and living in a community that feels thought out, but you don't necessarily need the nonstop activity of something like Windsong Ranch. And then on the flip side, if you want a ton of land and space between you and your neighbors, this is not gonna hit like Goodland. If you want that big, flashy resort-style amenity experience, this is not trying to be that either. This is what we call balance. And for a lot of people, this is where things really start to click. All right, so now let's stop being nice and just call everything what it is. These three communities are for three completely different types of people. And if you try to convince yourself you fit all three, you're gonna end up in the wrong one. If peace, space, and not feeling like your neighbors are living on top of you matters more than being close to everything, Goodland is your lane. That's for the person who comes home and actually wants to feel like a reset, not just a place to sleep. If you want the energy, the amenities you'll actually use, the stuff going on all the time, and you like being around people, that's where Windsong hits hard. Just understand you're trading some space and quiet for that type of lifestyle. And for a lot of people, that's 100% worth it. And then you've got Painted Tree sitting right there in the middle, right? If you want something that feels clean, well-designed, connected with a strong location, but you don't need the chaos of a resort-style community and you don't want to be too far out either, that's where Painted Tree clicks for you. And this is really where people mess up. They say they want space, but they don't want to drive. They say they want amenities, but they don't actually use them. Again, it feels like we're playing tricks on ourselves. They say they want balance, but they don't really know what it looks like yet. Well, we got to define it before we can find it. And here's the truth of it all. You don't figure all that out online. You figure that out when you step into these places and feel the difference, right? Because at the end of the day, you're not picking the best looking community. You're picking the one that makes your everyday life feel right. Yeah, I got them bars. So at this point, guys, you've seen it. Three completely different ways to live in the Dallas area. And this is why I always tell people, don't get caught up just looking at the house, because you can find a house you like in a lot of places, but the community, the area, the way your day-to-day life feels, actually, that's the part people either get right or regret later. Now look, I get it. As you're on YouTube, you're seeing a lot of these people post nothing but houses, 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 houses. Or if you're on Instagram, this is what 500,000 gets you 30 minutes from downtown, which is in a whole nother city. This is what 400,000 gets you 25 minutes from Frisco. Well, you're in Princeton. Like, on this channel, I'm gonna give you the real and not try to give you the fluff to get you to come and holler at. I'm just gonna tell you the truth, and then you make the best decision for you and your family. And all I'm saying is that I can help you do it as you continue. So if you didn't catch it at the beginning of the video, I'm Mark. I'm the local realtor here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And my real estate team and I, we help people make this move every single day. Whether you're relocating from out of state or just moving around the Metroplex, guys, we help you narrow this down, figure out what actually fits, and make sure you're making the right decision for your situation. So if you got questions, you're trying to figure out where to land, or you just want to talk through your options, feel free to reach out, guys. We're not too busy. We actually answer the phone, as you've probably seen if you called another realtor. So if you're ready to start that conversation, guys, all of our information is down there in the description below and pinned to the top of the chat. And look, I get it. If you're still doing your research, make sure you check out the rest of the videos on our channel, right? We've got tons of content breaking down different areas, communities, and what it's really like living here in Dallas. And the great thing about it is you can binge watch them like Netflix, and all you got to do is click right here.